On this week's episode of The Early Crow, we throw out 2 pony tips for Caulfield Saturday at the end. We talk about one of the most disgraceful acts of character and like brotherhood you've probably ever seen. You know, talk about Bloods culture. Well, I don't know what happened to that in the NFL tipping comp. We discuss that and a lot more. The disgraceful performance that is all of our golf tipping. We talk cricket, which Royce loves. Hatton to live, Rambo, and a little bit of dribble about other stuff as well. I hope you enjoy the show, and here it is. Hello, welcome, Early Crow, Papless Early Crow, as he's doing what he should be doing, MJ Pratt, also known as Royce. He's getting fit and taking himself seriously, which I'm happy to see as a Swans fan. I'm sure there's a lot of Swans fans out there listening. The boys are into it. Bit of bonding, but a lot of hard work. And Tom will report back next week with a recap of what they've done on their camp, a bonding camp. Obviously not the camps like you see able to hear about on the good old podcast when you get an old bloke on who, they just go and they rip and they tear. This is a modern-day footballer doing his thing. So we'll get a recap of that next week.
It's just
that'll
flat
be
out
after
playing
about
golf that I believe. I believe all they've done is played golf for 3 days. It's fucking unreal.
Yeah, it would have been a good day to invest in, like to be selling the golf balls in that pro shop. Honestly, I saw some of those swings and they made me sick. He'll give you the recap next week, I reckon, about 15 minutes into the show when he stops talking about his horse that I've forgotten its name of, that paraded with one of the great hogs of all time. Get a fix. He was fixing for some fillies in the yard. He's tripoding himself around the mounting yard, and it didn't stop him. The big fella travelled deluxe, coffin, Nash, stack a pony, let down, 1.8 or $2.4 million colt, pushed it out of the way. Said, see you later. Tom might own a smart horse. Time will tell. It was only a maiden, but it was a good maiden at that. So exciting times for T Papley with Get a Fix up there in Sydney. Royce,
yes,
my man.
What's cracking? Oh, here we go. This
how you going?
Fucking hang on. Before you ask how I'm going, what is going on? As I'm watching some, is that vape mist in your water? What is happening?
This is the vape mist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would have thunk it.
That's hydro water, and It's fixed my back. Could be that or the holiday and the swimming, but
yeah, we'll get into
it could be a combination
shortly.
of both. I'm not sure, but I'm feeling enormous, and I'm putting some of that down to this and the Magic Minds, which was hard to get off. I got a bit hooked to them. I didn't take them away with me, so but I'm back on the Magic Minds today, as you can probably tell. And it assisted me in providing what I thought was some of the great betting of Oswald time today there at Royal Sandown, God's Carpet.
Yep.
Only one bet, but a very tricky day. Another winning day, another winning month. Life's very good at Mailbag.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to toot their horn more. You just having the one bet and dodging a few today, or Paps with his horse. It was a battle in the group chat. You were both up and about, which was good. But yeah, Paps does look like he's got his hands on a good one with John O'Shea for sure.
Exciting. Very,
got
very
the wobbles,
exciting.
But fuck it, won well.
Now, did he do any work while I was away?
Did he do any work while you were away? As in work for the Early Crow? You answer that question and then you tell me what you think the answer is, and then we can go from there.
No.
Yeah, correct. No, cool. We had a few convos, got a few things in the pipeline, but it's hard for some when they keep getting to go away and do footy camps, and now I think he's got 4 days in Byron. It must be so tough.
Yeah. Lifestyle's rich and famous. I kept refreshing the feed, seeing if there was a fresh show, but there wasn't. It's disappointing. I'm sure, like everyone else. But we move forward, and we what are we going to do tonight?
Well, how was your holiday to start with? Before we get into anything serious, Norfolk Island, mate. What was the go there? What drew you? For those who don't know, it's about 1,500 k's east of Brisbane.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a long way.
For those playing home, it's a 2-hour flight from Sydney. Just enough time to get in a movie while his son has a sleep.
You telling me you sat through a whole movie?
Well, I don't know what I watched over there, but I remember thinking that was good. I watched Marvel something on the way home. Maybe the worst Marvel one I've ever seen. Captain Marvel, the chick, hot, but it's B minus, almost a C. Real letdown for that franchise, to be honest. Sydney, Melbourne to Sydney, Sydney to Norfolk, 2 weeks ish there. Back to Sydney, little sightseeing day, back home. Kids 4 and 2, full credit to them. Outstanding behaviour. All the credit goes to their mother, who's just a machine. 7 months pregnant and just so organised, so efficient. Just what a woman. Very lucky, grateful. It was a great time. I'll describe Norfolk Island as a country town in the late 90s on an island.
Yeah, right.
Quite beautiful, nice and relaxed. Cows roam the streets. You can drive place in the back of it, a little truck, which is fun for the kids. It was beautiful. It was good.
That's awesome.
Not a heap of reception, which was disappointing.
Was that a good thing or a bad thing, though? It's probably nice to disconnect for a bit, huh?
Yeah, it's tough, though.
Yeah, fair. You say it's a country town. What's the population? Do you know? Have you got any idea?
Nah, it's not much.
No,
I don't know. We should chat JGP that if we had an intern in the background, we could have done that.
Who's that, Paps?
Norfolk Island. It's known for its rugged coastline, lush greenery, and unique history. Originally settled by the East Polynesians, it was later colonised by the British in the late 18th century as a penal colony. Convicts, like we were. The island is notable for its historical sites related to its penal colony, including the Kingston and Arthur's Vale historic areas. Additionally, Norfolk Island is a unique blend of culture due to its descendants of the bounty of mutineers who resettled there from Pitcairn Island. It's a self-governing territory of Australia, but it maintains a distinct cultural identity. The environment is rich in unique flora and fauna, contributing to its appeal as a destination for nature lovers and history enthusiasts. Basically, the worst of the worst got sent from Sydney to Norfolk. It was torture. They eventually gave up on it. They settled it because they wanted the pine and they wanted to grow something else there. Then there's a bunch of them that went to another island eventually, and they had to get settled somewhere, and the Queen gave it to them. And now Australia sort of runs it somehow, some way, but not enough that you can't go there domestically. You got to get the passport out and go through customs, which is a big pain in your ass.
Because when you told me you were going there, I googled it just out of curiosity and found out where it was, and I think the population answered my questions about 2,100 as I looked this up in the background. And when you said you were going through customs, I was like, isn't it a fucking part of Australia?
That's what I thought was a setback.
Crazy to think that there's that island out there that, we're in Melbourne, but that a lot of people don't know about or know where it is. I asked my missus about it as well. She was like, yeah, no, I didn't realise it was that far into the ocean, you know?
Well, we're going way off topic here, but I don't like saying this stuff because people think I'm a moron. But Polynesians as a broad race, they came through Papua New Guinea, dodged Australia. They actually went to Norfolk Island and all those islands out there and ended up in. Anyway, they went out there, but they always moved on. They could navigate. They ended up in New Zealand, everywhere, right? They could navigate the ocean unbelievably well. They invented boats, the sort of catamaran style boat. But they had been at Norfolk Island, they think, well before the British got there, because there was banana trees and things that shouldn't have sort of been there. But there was no people there when they got there. So it's got a bit of that flavour to it. But look, if you can get there, I'd tip it. If you need to have kids. I wouldn't be going there if I was a young bloke looking for a good time. There's not a lot doing.
3
after
pubs,
dark.
I believe.
But it's a nice joint all the same. That's Norfolk Island, Pratty.
Yeah, what a pleasure. Sounds like you enjoyed yourself.
It's good.
And then when you got back, mate, what was the rush? Was it because obviously you're away for 2 weeks with we've had a fucking fair bit of rain in Melbourne, grass overgrown. What was the situation when you got back? Were you able to just ease back into it or just straight into doing chores?
Well, what I did before I left was I gave it a number 4, and then I gave it like 4 days later a 6. No, no male there or like fact, but my theory is if you cut it a little bit longer, it grows a little bit slower.
Yeah.
So I sort of like to get under it and then just clip it at the top. Didn't really make a dent because when I came back, it was up to my shins in 2 weeks. So that rain and heat we're having here, it kicked up. So I got that mowed straight away.
Straight on the Makita lawnmower and just gave it a clip or what?
Oh, I was up to my shins and just went over it once. Yeah, the battery just ripped through it. Very, very impressed with my Makita lawnmower and grateful for it. It did a phenomenal job and very much grateful too for my new beast of a car. So we're back to a few winners today, done a stack of Caulfield and Valley form today as well. We're ready to go. Big week ahead.
From what you've been telling me, the winner was needed after the Ford territory has entered the family as well.
Everest. Shout out to PVL. Went that way just because of the great marketing he's done up there in New South Wales. I love the Everest, and now I love an Everest. Also kicked off a holiday with Shine a New Deal. Done deal. Gelding, I purchased at the Karaka Ready to Run sale year before last with Jesus Bedgood. Luckless first start Cranbourne. Went to Pakenham. Bowie Mertens gave it an absolute peach of a ride. Quite a wealthy, rich maiden. We were able to win. Now we sort of aim up at a Group 2, most likely next start. Not because we think he's a star yet, but there's just not a lot of options for a horse like him.
Yeah.
But that was really rewarding. And, it's been a good little patch. We had Lazy Susan run around on Saturday for Mailbag Bloodstock. Just got done. That was a story of the day for us, wasn't it? At Moonee Valley. Sort of
sickening.
I was really happy with how we bet, but we didn't land a blow at the same time. I know that probably sounds weird to a sort of victim or hobbyist punter out there, but you know, we're taking shots and we're going to miss a lot, and they just miss like that. It hurts a little bit more. But she went good, the horse, Lazy Susan, and she's a lot of fun to race. We've got Poland in on Saturday, last race at Caulfield. Unfortunately, that race has come up very, very strong for a benchmark 84. There's Jimmy Starr, who's above average and just getting through his grades. We run into it. Blake Shin rides. And then there's Brun King, who I've got a lot of time for. It's in there as well. The race is stacked. So we'll kick up from one, hold a spot, and pray to all the gods, Zeus, Allah, Buddha, Bilbo Baggins, Ablett Senior, Junior, that he delivers. Big Poland, second up, Mailbag Bloodstock.
Mate, flying. I think understatement of the year was saying that we had a bit of a rough trot on Saturday. I think it was 4 under half a length that you backed. It's just one of those days. And then to also not only have one of those get done, but then for fucking your horse Lazy Susan to get done by, I think it was like a long neck, just really summed up that day that you had it at Caulfield.
Particularly when you know you're picking up the Everest and you own a big chunk of that horse. Could have been very helpful towards it all. But anyway, we move on. You watch the cricket?
Yeah, I did, mate. Yep, I watched a bit of it. It was good.
Who would have thought that Steve Smith would make runs as an opener, given his average is fucking 60 in Test cricket? Like the cucky, nonny chat, like hassling him for making like a couple of failures as he started his opening career. Borderline insanity. He bats where the best batsmen bat his whole life and make a ton of runs. Flatter decks, newer ball. He's always going to go as good or better, I thought. They're like, his eyes aren't what they were at 33. Now he's
Yeah, I don't think it matters when you're of that caliber and you're that far into a career that's been so successful.
That caliber. There's no other one. There's no other Australian cricketer that anyone listening to this podcast has ever seen who's at that caliber.
Ponting?
He's not that caliber. He averages what, 58?
Yeah, I think so. So they're probably pretty similar.
Well, he's in the 60s, isn't he?
I think so. Probably just.
He's averaging 60 as an opener now because he got the 91 knot.
Yeah. I think people forget as well that he came in the side as a leg spinner and he was he wasn't great with the bat early on either. He wasn't making big scores down at 7 and 8. So for him to have the career that he's had is unbelievable. And like they clearly want to keep putting time into green. Like that project's not going anywhere. They want that to succeed. And as it should, you've got a bloke that can bowl 140 kilometers an hour, like without it look like he's really even trying. And then can hopefully bat, and if he averages 40 and averages 30 with the ball or a little bit less with the ball, like you've got yourself a fucking unbelievable cricketer there. Like I think Lyon keeps coming out and comparing him to Callis, which I
think that's a big call because he's the Smith caliber.
Yeah, 100%. He has to be the greatest cricketer that I've seen in my lifetime. For sure.
100% agree.
Yeah,
100%.
He'd open the bowling for any country or bowl first change for any country and then could bat at 3 for any country in the world at any point in time, and he did it together in the same career.
And had just a pure South African Alpha's rig, like big-chested. Just he got a rug and didn't give a fuck. He just didn't hide it.
Yeah, 100%.
Hair hat. I'm Jacques Callis to do what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big, thick boy. Yeah, I heard on a podcast that I love and adore.
Before you keep going, I don't want to edit this. I know which one you're talking about. Let's can we keep the PG version, please?
I just think, I'm worried about getting everyone in trouble, but I just think Cam Green, like they suggested that he just needs to eyeball the doot, and I just think that's spot on. He needs to own his physique and his potential and his ability, go a bit harder and care a little less.
Well said. I know exactly which one you're talking about, and very, very well said. That can stay in, mate. That's a pass for you. But the other thing that baffles me is, yes, it might be good for cricket, but fuck, I was pissed off that the Aussies lost. Like, I know everybody's saying it's really good that the West Indies have done well and whatever, but like me as an Aussie cricket fan, like, especially in that situation when it was getting down to the wire, I don't know how much of it you watched, but when it was getting down to the wire, I was hoping that Pat or somebody was going to dig in, or Stark. Like, Stark did bat well in a sense to try and wrangle the momentum back in our way, and obviously went a little bit too hard. But I was fucking pissed off that we lost. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it might be good for cricket, but fuck, like you just want to win.
They said it like the great cricketer, the best podcast in podcasts. They sort of take the piss about it every time. Like, we want a contest every year. So when the start of this summer, everyone's like, fucking Pakistan, West Indies, what a joke. Then it's a contest. And, we should have beaten them better than we beat them. Like, they've had a pretty big year. They've played the World Test final and beat India in England.
Yep.
They won the Ashes, or retained them. Job done. They won the World Cup. They beat Pakistan, and they retained it against the West Indies. And they got beaten by a great performance in sport, which is good for sport.
Yeah, 100%. Shamar Joseph, what a fucking...
I think it's like just so Australian to like complain about... If they beat them 2-0 and 3-0, we would complain.
No, for sure.
I thought the Pakistanis played good cricket, like good, aggressive, fun cricket. They captained really well. I didn't watch much of the West Indies, to be honest, because I was away the whole time. But I did watch the death of it. I saw Stephen Smudge just lap one over, and that's when you can tell he's a little bit old. He kind of like, he looked like me getting out of a pool a bit, like you think you can just jump out like you used to, and you're sort of fucking, hang on. Do you notice that? He almost sort of fell over.
I thought you said these hydro waters or whatever you're drinking were doing good for you. You can't get out of a pool.
Not easily. Yeah. Really kick my little pins. Little chicken legs.
No, I do know what you mean. It's, I think the other part about that whole thing is that people are allowed to have a little bit of lapses in form as well. Like, I think we were just so used to him just making bulk runs every year, or somebody making bulk runs for us. And I think, again, the great cricketer summed it up well, and that the fact that the pitches had a little bit more in it. So it was a lot harder for batsmen. And when people did make runs, it was actually a pleasure to watch. Like, Smith making 91 runs at the end of that day. If he had got us across the line there, that would have been absolutely fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? the big bush horse could have got his front hoof a little bit further forward and blocked it. You just never know what might have happened. But yeah, I think we're so critical on our top end because we just expect them to do so well all of the time when that's just not reality in sport or life, you know.
Yeah,
You have to be proper freakish to be able
Marnus
to do it.
is only
every
averaging
week.
35 his last 2 years. Like, just until there's someone knocking down the door, just let him play, I reckon.
Yeah, fair.
Speaking of the great cricketer, they had UMI frontman on.
Tim Rogers.
Yeah, good chat. That was a good listen. And one of the great out wide listens, I'm just halfway through it now, but it's called Bussin' with the Boys. Never listened to it before, but I'm a big fan of Stu Finer. If you haven't heard of him, he's pretty crass, but he's very, very funny and just a very unique human being. But it's a deep dive, like he goes through his life. It's Bussin' with the Boys. Start it from about the hour mark. You won't regret it.
Is that what you're consuming your time with? Just podcasting while you've been on holiday, or what's been the go?
No, that's all since I got home. Yep. I've got a 4-year-old boy that asks questions 24/7, mate. My AirPods didn't go in the whole time.
Shit. And there would have been no midday trips to KFC. Hopefully, shout out to Emma if she's listened. So
no, there's no KFC on Norfolk. So Di, beautiful woman, my mother, she made chicken, lettuce, and mayonnaise, like cooked chook sandwiches, sort of every second day. And Darcy couldn't believe it that Di could make KFC burgers. So
now you know you're gonna have to keep that tradition up and make sure that's how you make KFC every week. Yeah.
Nah.
Over to the golf, mate. Have you seen the news about Tyrrell Hatton sliding over to Live?
Very tactical from Tyrrell, ping man. One of the most watchable golfers on the tour. However he's going, like you want to watch. He can throw a tournament away, but he can then get back in it the next day. He's capable of like shooting scores that most blokes aren't, and he's capable of throwing tantrums that most humans aren't. It's quite fascinating that he's as good as he is at golf with such like mental vulnerability. But I think an incredibly intelligent play from him. He's taken the cash.
96 I reckon, Australian, by the way.
I reckon there's like he could be the last one. There might be one or two more. Like even Rory today's like fully 180'd his narrative around Live and PGA, and I think the writing's on the wall, if you sort of read the tea leaves a little bit, that it's about to be united.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great for golf. It makes no sense to me why it's happened this way.
Yeah.
And it shits me. The thing that shits me is like how everyone is always like fighting to pay your rent or pay your mortgage or put food on the table, and these blokes are just burning cash like it's just confetti.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Just a lazy 96 million, according to the Telegraph UK for him, 96 Australian million.
So do you reckon like the Saudis have decided that in the negotiations they're going to get that 96 back, 1.5 or twofold? Yeah. Or are they just going, fuck it?
That I'm not sure about. I don't know, I don't know enough into it, and I'd be lying if I said I did. I don't know what the motivation is.
That's what I mean. Like if you're about to join the tours, which it sounds like they're going to, or do something like that, where it sounds to me like they're going to play the Live Tour and it's going to continue.
Yep.
And they're going to play the PGA.
Yep.
But the Live golfers will play the Live events.
Yep.
I'm just guessing this too. I haven't read anything.
Yep.
They're going to play the Live. They're going to play the Live events. But if they have the week off, they can go play the Sony Open or whatever it is.
Yep.
That sounds to me like what's going to happen. So then why would you buy Tyrrell? I don't get it. I understand Ram. Like getting Ram just sort of put the nail in the coffin that you need to do a deal or we're going to take everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
Because John Rahm, they have poached the right players. Like John Rahm's, it's Scotty Scheffler and John Rahm. Dustin Johnson was enormous.
Yep.
But Tyrrell Hatton's very, very watchable. Like, no one's tuning in to watch Cantlay or Brian Harman play golf.
No.
Unless you love golf.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. And I think, how's the thickness that Rahm's in the same team as Hatton? How about them two girthy operators strutting around a golf course hitting bombs?
Girthy and hot-headed.
Love it. It'll be entertaining. Might have to get across to Adelaide for Liv.
Yeah, hopefully Paps takes us.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? That'd be one of the rounds of footy, wouldn't it?
Oh, he's probably got it off somehow.
It'll be interesting to see in the next year where both of those tours end up, and then what happens to the other tours as well. Do they start playing alternate weekends, or do they look to reshuffle the whole schedule so that they don't play as much at the same time? It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens with golf.
And speaking of foot, I don't know if it's going to be good or bad if they join the tours up a little bit, because it's got to be the most disgraceful performance I've ever seen or been a part of in my whole fucking life. What, you, Tom,
me, okay,
particularly Matty Punts, he's a disgrace.
Yeah, here we go.
Juz, myself, and the rest of the Swans boys that are involved, we are atrocious, embarrassing.
Hey, let's just start by saying that understandably you're going to tear into me for not backing winners, and you're only fucking rah-rah one win away from being in front. But I'm in front and in the profit. So you can say what you like about the rest of them.
You're like...
Here we go.
You're trying to walk to fucking Sydney. Whereas we're all at the airport trying to get it, hitchhike a plane. One of us will get a lift and we'll say, how you going, Pratty?
I give you the relative.
How's Wangaratta, mate?
Hey,
is it good?
Wangaratta is nice. It's still a long way from fucking Sydney, but it's a nice joint.
Please.
The thing is, if you don't find winners soon, you're going to have to start finding $30 and $40 and $50 shots. I'm not saying that you won't do it, but I'm just saying the question is, can you do it? Because if you don't, then you might be so far down the drain that you're going to have to find a fucking $40 winner to even get back to even.
Was it Jakey or Harry who I had a crack at without meaning to last time, and they've adjusted? I think it's Jakey.
I think it's Harry. It's definitely
Harry.
And you were definitely having a crack at me as well. I'm not fucking.
I'm having a crack at you because I've said it and you've sort of done it again. If you were playing against just Tom and I, sound tactical decision to play your top 10s, your top 5s, and your weak top 20s, because it is it's a high chance that no one tips a big winner because the tournament ends at the Players, or is it the Masters?
Players, I think we said. I'll have to go back.
But when you're playing against 12 blokes with 3 tips each, someone's going to jag one. It's math. It's betting. It's percentages. I'm sitting here. I've done it for 3 weeks now, trying to tell you how to play the game, which I shouldn't have done, because Harry would have just kept doing his top 20s and shit with you, and you both would have not run last, but you wouldn't have won.
Yeah. Well, the only thing is, this is on recording now, which is the best part. So when I do win, when it gets to the Players, and I've won, and I take your cash and all the boys' cash, then at least I'll be able to clip this up and say, I fucking told you so.
Yeah, well, speaking of told you so, I don't know if this is the reason why our little mates decided to dodge the show this week. But it would make a lot of sense. Because whilst I was on a holiday with my family, one of the great cowardly acts of character I've ever witnessed from blokes that I had a lot of respect for happened. What you...
Me? Hang on.
Yeah,
me.
You
right,
posted it. You posted it. You typed it in.
Yep, I definitely did.
What you, Matty Punts, Juzzy, and T. Papley did with the NFL was a disgrace. I had no reception just because I answered a golf chat like you've seen my phone, the stuff I don't read. Disgrace. I put my tips in at least 2 or 3 hours before the game started. And I then, you should have heard, if you're listening at home, the little, they were kind of like a mob, just egging each other on when you read the messages. And then they're like, oh yeah, let's put it to a vote. And they're like, yeah, we'll put it to a vote. Where's that vote?
I don't know.
Because I think you guys realise that if Jack put his tips in 2 or 3 hours before the game, they should stand, considering the games were moved a day forward to what they've been all season.
Yep.
I gained no unfair advantage at all. I tipped 2 from 3 games. And for some reason, I don't understand, considering I'm half of this show, I've been deducted 1 game.
Yeah, I don't get that. I can't speak on why they deducted you for a game because that's not my areas. I don't have any skin in the game. I just left it as is. If it was up to me, I would have taken your tips as they were when you posted on the page because it was clearly time stamped that it was before the game.
Well, that's good because that's what we will be doing.
Okay, so that means you're only 1 off the lead. I'm
tied with Matty Punts, which is the main thing I want to do is beat that little prick. And Tom Papley is 3 games back. His best case scenario is going halves or thirds in lunch and golf. And the reason for that, Tom, is you've tipped like that badly. You've wobbled under pressure. You've had every possible advantage. You've sat there and waited for other people's tips to come in to just go against them to try and make ground because you've given up on using your own brain. And that's the price you pay. You need Matty Punts and I to go 0-3. You need to go 3-0 in the Super Bowl to get a bit of help with the bill.
This will be interesting to see how the boys take this.
Oh, they could have shown up, but they didn't.
So that's the end of that conversation, isn't it? It's getting amended and we just push on, or what?
Yeah, because who was the bloke that started it and thought of the rules and what was his name?
I don't know. I don't do rhetorical questions.
Yeah, good. I'm 3 clear of Tom. I can't lose. I can't pay for lunch by myself. I could roll Juzzy, who has just wobbled like.
Speaking of wobbling, that's a wheel falling off.
Yeah, it really is. And then the other ones come off as well, sort of thing. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It's been a
and a highlight for me too was Punts and Juzz. So they think they're sharp. If you're playing at home, they think they've got a little bit of an edge because they like it a little bit more than I do. And they throw out their little cheeky player props with all their research, and they're probably scraping lines and going, "Oh, he's plus 24 at Top Sport, and he's plus this there, and so I'll grab this price. It's value." All you got to do is just go against them because they're natural losers, and bang, they both lost their little cheeky, sneaky expert player props on the weekend, which I just thought was phenomenal. Really put a pep in my step. I was rolling through the airport at that point in time.
That's classic. I actually realised I haven't posted the results either. I think it's going to work out that 3 of the 4 of you are also going to be over 500 for the season. And considering I know 2 of those 3, Dicko and Punts have got absolutely fucking no idea what's going on. And then Juzzy's...
No, but the best part is Punts has a lot of idea. He's just an awful gambler.
Well, all right. So one of you has no idea what's going on. You're definitely going to go over 500. And then the other 2 have got some idea of what's going on. I think what
I've done this year in the NFL is heroic. I was gone.
Yeah.
I was way below 500. I was well back. I just ended up just fading Punts and it worked. It did and will. And Tom's going to be paying for lunch and I'm going to get at least 2 serves. I won't eat for the day prior. What else should we talk about, Roycey?
I don't know, mate. What's upcoming for your week? Are you going to go out and watch Poland? What's the go?
No, I won't be going out to watch Poland. I've probably got to go to Sydney next week to inspect the horses at the Classic Sale.
Yep.
Picked up 2 nice colts at the Magics, but I need to, keep doing the work and hopefully find another couple over the next little bit. This weekend, do you want to talk some ponies?
Yeah, why not?
Do you want me just to start, we'll continue to keep dribbling?
Go for it.
Caulfield Saturday is reasonably juicy. Now, the rail's out 9 metres. 9 metre rail at Caulfield's one of the fairer positions, particularly out of the chute. On the circle, you sort of want to dodge horses, I think, that get back worse than midfield. There's 2 Group 3s there on Saturday, the Balmain Stakes and the Chairman Stakes, 1,000 metres and a 1,200 metre race. The Balmain Stakes is a 4-year-old and up mares only race. And the Chairman Stakes
2.0, is it?
Sorry?
It's the Invitation 2.0 in Victoria.
Well, it's probably the original.
Yeah, no comment.
It's worth 200. And the Chairman Stakes is the Group 3 for 2-year-olds, over 1,000. So they're going to go very, very hard in that race. Look, I haven't had a bet yet because I've had to do this podcast. But horses I'm looking very closely at just off the top of my head. Oh, God.
Got him gone.
Race 1, number 4, Exo Communicado, Anthony and Sam Friedman, Luke Curry, barrier 3. Very heavily backed and a nice win at Mornington 35 days ago. She's an I'm Invincible filly, 3-year-old, 1 from 1. I like what she did to the clock. I don't love her last little 200 versus the day, but she sort of did enough, I think, for the price she is. Just want to get a little tick over jump out from Lindsay, which I'm waiting for tonight. P-Rat.
Yep.
So it's 35 days between runs. Race 2, number 6, our Couva, Jerome Hunter. Willow goes on, replaces, I think, Harry Coffey. Stand by. Yes, he does. Not suited at Geelong, I thought. The form all around this horse is strong. I think he's a big, big, stupid price. Vancouver gelding. And do you want another one?
I don't know. It depends on how generous you're feeling. We'll have the eyes on pony slide up on Saturday, but I suppose
tune in for that. Tune in for that. There's a value play though. Like you can't miss having a bet at that thing.
Yeah. Do you expect both of them to roll forward? Is that also what's getting excited?
I think Couva will be in the sort of 1-1, so that's like one pair back and one off the fence. It's a beautiful spot to be at Caulfield on Saturday. Mm-hmm. The thing in race 1's harder to map because they're all pretty lightly raced, but I think from barrier 3 to probably lead or sit outside leader.
Yeah.
It's a very, very juicy card, though. There's angles everywhere, and you're going to get nice prices. So if you can land 1 or 2, you'll win. If you can land 3, it's Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. And our plays for Caulfield and wherever they're racing in Sydney will be up on Saturday morning as per usual on the Early Crow. And I think another shout out while we're speaking up our own products, we've made a new TikTok because the other one has gone by the wayside. So if anybody out there is a big TikTok fan, I know I am. I know I usually open it at 9:30 and all of a sudden it's fucking 12:30 at night and I wonder why I'm tired the next day, but that's a me problem, not an anybody else problem. The Early Crow Pod on TikTok. Get around us on Instagram and Twitter as well if you haven't been, but we know you all will be and winning about 25% profit on turnover on the horse racing tips. I
lost last week, so I'll bounce back this week. I won't lose again. Make sure you find it. Is it only going to be on TikTok this week?
No, it'll be on Instagram and Twitter. TikTok it won't be, but if you're a fan of the show and a fan of a few extra reels and things that might be going up, maybe some other segments that we do in time, the bigger videos will be posted to TikTok.
Could be an in-person show next week if I do get to Sydney, actually.
Oh, Christ. Won't that be fun?
Hang
on. You're assuming that he's available. He wasn't available tonight.
Oh, he's in Coffs Harbour or somewhere. Fair enough.
Yeah, he's in Byron Bay. Just ducked up to Byron.
I'm glad he's not here.
So you get your NFL speech out of the way?
Can't rebut my NFL chat, basically.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That was my sort of goal for tonight. Glad I got that out of the way. I'm excited for the Super Bowl now.
Yep.
Can't lose, can only roll Juzzy. All I've got to really do is just run past Juzz, who's got a tip first. That is the rule that I made. And then punts will have to tip first because he tried to cheat. And then I'll tip and I'll just fade both and I'll leave it up to them. So I'll let them know this before the tips go in. So basically I'm going to go against you two. So it's up to you. You control your destiny. And I don't think either of them will like that. They'll hate that pressure and they'll wobble like they wobbled all back half of the season and I'll run over top of them.
Now, the real question is, which might really stump you, who's playing in the Super Bowl? Have you got any idea?
The San Francisco 49ers up against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Fucking, I'm impressed. I did not think you were going to get that, to be honest. Or it's the
Kelsey,
49ers
Mahomes, Pratty, the quarterback for the 49ers.
You know a little bit more than I thought you did, mate. Maybe you've been playing everybody all along and you've just been a genius the whole way through.
Maybe. Thanks for listening to this week's edition of the Early Crow, powered by Makita. Tom and I, tradies at the core. That's how we started. Probably how we're going to finish. And I've always used Makita, and so has Tom. You can trust him. And if you headed to a tools shop, whether it be Sydney Tools, Total Tools, where's the Total Tools ad go?
The fact you know that, you've definitely keepracing.com on too long during the day.
Yeah, make sure you give Makita a go. They're an outstanding product. Our merch available at Custom ORTC. You'll find it if you go to the website. Google them. You'll see our gear. It's so sound. It's quality. The hoodie's particularly perfect. I wore the shirt all over Norfolk Island. Handle the sweat. Pulled up sweet. Wash clean. Quality product. We're also brought to you by Mailbag Bloodstock, a bloodstock syndication business, racehorses that I founded and run. We currently have a colt by Yes, going to be trained by Gay and Adrian. Gay Waterhouse, Adrian Bott. They won the Magic Millions this year. She's won it like 6 times before. They are elite at what they do. This colt's good value for that sale. If you want to race a horse with me, Jono, Jono, at themailbag.com.au. Shoot him an email. Tell him you're interested. He'll give you all the information you can get to make an informed decision. We'd love to have you. We've also got really cheap tried horses. So we've got horses for all budgets, Pratty. That's been the Early Crow. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's pray to God we can find some winners on Saturday. Make sure you get the socials because we'll be 11 o'clock, we'll say.
About that.
Eyes on ponies. You'll get the golf slide, which couldn't go any worse. What goes up must come down, and what is at the rock bottom, which that is, it's fucking below the surface of rock bottom. It's got to come up at some point. Now's the time to start tagging whoever you want to follow on there. That's the Early Crow. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend or a week. Bye for now.